certainly ways in which you can get an understanding of the basics. And it really is not as complicated as what sometimes techie people like me might make it sound. And so search engine optimization, or we like to call it search everywhere optimization, because it's not just the search engines anymore like Google. It's large language models, so ChatGPT and all the others that people are using to find businesses and services. And that's the way in which you can grow your business if you're in one without much cost.
Welcome everybody back to another exciting show of the About That Water podcast, where we help the sandwich generation build strong financial habits so that they can talk about money, spend money, and enjoy their money with confidence. And today I have somebody who started an awesome business that really helps out everybody on the digital spectrum. And I have to say, you will not want to miss this one. So how you doing today, Wes Towers? Thank you for coming through.
Thank you, Anthony. It's a pleasure to be on the show. I've listened to a lot of your material, and to speak to you in person is a real privilege.
Oh, thank you so much. Because when it comes to doing this, I actually say that I do this for the one person that's listening, the one person that it could change a life for. And this ultimately what brings me to the mic every day and push out an episode at least weekly.
Yeah. Well, it just takes one spark of idea or creative to be able to apply one idea or principle can change someone's life. So hopefully we can drop a nugget for someone somewhere along the line today.
Yeah, I hope so too. Whether it be like 1 year later.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
So let's go on and jump right into it. When it comes to SEO, which is a really big deal, we all hear about it. Some of us are still trying to learn it. Is there a way that we can learn it and apply it for free?
Yeah, well, there's certainly ways in which you can get an understanding of the basics. And it really is not as complicated as what sometimes techie people like me might make it sound. And so search engine optimization, or we like to call it search everywhere optimization, because it's not just the search engines anymore like Google. It's large language models, so ChatGPT and all the others that people are using to find businesses and services. And that's the way in which you can grow your business if you're in one without much cost. So it's just taking the work or getting the foundations in place. So the basic principle to understand is they're all trying to do the same thing for the people using the tools, whether it be Google or ChatGPT or the others. It's to surface the very best information to answer the needs in which they're searching for. So you need to publish that content in a way in which they can find it and it can surface to the right people at the right time.
That makes sense. And because of the way how AI is going, there's something called like a AAO, which is like the AI agent optimization.
Yeah.
Is that something you guys looking into as well?
Yeah, all of it. So it's all kind of in a lot of ways the same principles, although there's nuance in all the different tools. And so sometimes we get lost in the different tools. But the problem with that is you can get really specific in one tool, how it's working right now, and it'll change tomorrow. So we take a more of a long-term view of where is it trying to go. And it's trying to, firstly, you need to build your website and your content strategy with a core message, a foundational message that you want to be known for. You want to figure out what you want to be famous for, is the way I like to look at it. So figure out those core messages and have that message consistent and reliably published online as far and as wide as you can. The things you can control are your own social media platforms, of course. That helps to a degree, but your website is the authority place. No matter if you have a small business or you're a personal brand, whatever it is, that's what your foundation is built upon, because it's the one area you control completely. So all the tools are using the information they can glean far and wide online, so that if there's consistency across your message throughout multiple locations, it's more trustworthy. And they're able to see it all, especially the large language models. They can find what's being said on about you or your business in various locations and collate it into what they perceive to be their version of truth. So it's about if you're optimizing for AI, it's about getting your message in as many places as you can, and having that having a firstly you've got to have a message, a strong foundational message that you want to share to the world, and have that published far and wide so that the AI platforms can find you and understand what you're about.
That sounds awesome, because one of the things that we all come across is like, hey, we want to start a business, but yet we always hear, oh, we also need a website. And we were like, man, do we need a website designer? But what do we put on our website? And it's like, well, start with the product. So what are the 5 things that everybody should have on their website for like great SEO?
Yeah, so the basics are always the best thing to have, that prove that you are who you say you are, and you are where you're located even. So basic things like you should have an about page so that people can grasp exactly who you are and what you're about. But also the contact information. Sometimes people leave, if they're a home-based business, they don't want to publish their exact home location, which is fine. But at least they should be publishing the city or the town in which they are located, because Google are looking for where are they located, where are they likely to be able to serve the community. So these basic foundational things, so they can, because you got to think about not just the humans who are reading your information, but that the AI that is reading it and understanding it, because they are large language models, they understand the language. So you need to publish the words, and they understand images to a large degree now too. I mean, AI can produce images where historically they couldn't, Google couldn't understand exactly what an image was back in the day, but now they can. So having all the basic information in there. So we work with a lot of trades and construction businesses. So having a services page with the various services that you work in, and if it's service by service on each separate page, it's easier for them to consume and understand those portions of content, because not all of your services or all of your products are suitable for everybody. Someone's having a very specific conversation with their ChatGPT or Google. They're looking for something really precise and specific. So the more you can segment your content into logical pages, multiple pages ideally, then it's easier for them to grasp. But things that prove you are who you say you are, case studies, stories, examples with the trades construction businesses. I mean, some of them are building really beautiful buildings. So to show case studies and these buildings, the photography is really helpful too. So people are really rushed online. So they're really not reading word for word everything you say, but they're reading the aspects of what it is that's important to them. And also the tools are finding those key ingredients that someone's looking for at any given time. So really basic foundational things. But everything's changing so fast. It's crazy. It's exciting and terrifying, really, my whole industry. I had a bit of a wake-up call to what's going on a few years ago, and really had to adjust how we work as a business so we can better serve our clients.
Well, can you talk about that wake-up call? Like, what happened in that moment?
Yeah, so I had a business valuation done, and it was because of separation, divorce. So it wasn't the greatest of times. I was really in a pretty bad state. You know, you can imagine with any of these things, everything needs to be assessed and measured, you know, for the asset pool and to figure out who gets what and all of that kind of stuff. It's kind of the same around the world, I think. It's measured differently, but I needed to get a business valuation done because of that was part of the family asset pool. And so it was a bit of a wake up call, because it came in a lot lower than I anticipated it would. Now there was positive sides of that from my perspective, obviously, but the risks, the valuer said, yeah, the business is great. It's been going a long time. I mean, it's over 20 years. Reliable, predictable income, recurring income, all the things they look for were great. But he said AI was a massive threat to my whole industry. And so that was like, oh, I kind of knew that already, but I was just so busy in the work and everything else going on. I thought, oh, wow, I better start figuring out where this industry is going and getting into the right position for the growth that might occur, because any change there's opportunities. And so I really doubled down on how we do the work. and brought my team into the conversation. Historically, I'd done all the standard operating procedures, how business was done. Everything was done my way. Everything was, and what I thought was best. But this was bigger than me, and I couldn't figure it out on my own. And I had technical people around me. So I said, right, what are you seeing? What's happening? What do we need to adjust and change so we're ready for whatever comes in the future? And so they really helped me refine the way in which we work. And we had our best financial year off the back of that, which is
Nice.
wonderful. But yeah, so it's always evolving those too. So the tools and technology is changing so fast. We just need to be ready for the next thing and be nimble enough. That's the advantage of small business. You're flexible and dynamic enough to change when opportunities arise. With the big guys, they're difficult to change because they're like a big ship trying to steer a big ship. Really difficult for them to change their ways. But for us, we're nimble and we can change and adjust. And hopefully we're really positioned well for the growth and what happens in the future. Yeah, the positioning of things on a website, super, super important to have things where people expect them. The user behavior, the user experience. We all learn where things are typically on a website, and that's where they should be because that's where people will find them super easily. This is for the human user. Basic things like you've got a menu along the top typically, you've got the logo brand on the left, you've got a call to action on the right. I'm talking about the header here. But even within the menu, so that along the top, the contact page is typically the last, and it always should be because that's where people expect it to be. So if someone's visiting your website and all they want to do is get your contact details, find your address, find your email address, whatever it is, they should be able to find the contact page super simple. It's the last item usually, so therefore it should be. And so that's kind of having everything in a logical sequence and structure is always going to serve you better. Sometimes people try and get a little bit clever with these things, thinking that they know better than everyone else. But you really got to keep it simple, clean, consistent layouts that people can understand. Because, historically we designed for PC size screens, and now more people are using their mobile, their cell phone to view the website as well. So you've only got a small screen size to play with now oftentimes. So you've really got to be thinking about how the website will respond to this different screen size in which it's being viewed. So there's a whole bunch of other things. I don't know if I've given you 4, 5, 8.
No, this is great. Because of some of the things that we all forget or really even think about when you're building a website. It's almost like you said, because you deal with a lot of people that are doing businesses of the service business. It's like, well, sure, as long as they can contact me, that's all I really care about. Like, not so much anything else. So they usually just have a one pager, and you mentioned having multiple pages to some degree, but it's like, is it okay to have the anchor pages inside the thing, or does it have to be separate pages?
Yeah, there's kind of two philosophies around it. And so the concise and compelling content is really helpful. So that could be served on one page, but that's serving the human user really, really well because they can quickly understand and grasp it. We've got to be fueling AI with deeper information. So that's where multiple pages can be more helpful because it's structured in, segments of what you do or what you're providing. So it's easier for them to consume it because they're consuming large content and only giving the information which is suitable for the end user. That's very precise. So you can't get really precise with a one pager. The other way you could do it, you could do a one page for your main business, but behind the scenes to fuel Google, fuel large language models is to have maybe blog or news or stories where it's more substantive content. So you've got to get that balance right. Your main pages, whether it be one or a few, really concise, compelling, easy to understand, easy for your eye to grasp what it is and take action. But yeah, fueling the engines and the tools with deeper content within your website as well. So it's a bit of a balancing act.
It sounds like it because we always see some of the pages with in depth of pages upon pages, but it seemed like they've been doing this for years. So somebody
Yeah.
that's new, they might not have that breadth of content to put out there. So
Yeah.
how important is it to have an FAQ page?
It's really, really helpful. I Historically, it was really, really beneficial for Google. It's less so now because you could tag things as FAQs, and Google love answers to questions. And so it helped them tremendously. They don't sort of crawl the pages just like they did a few years ago. Even they're changing all the time, but it's still really helpful because it's helping you answer the pain points. So every business, people legitimately have questions. So to address those questions up front, and so in an easy sequence. The other powerful thing in an FAQs is to think about the questions people should be asking. So it's a way in which you can gently expose why you're superior to the competitors. So it's questions they should be asking the competitors. So, it might be a point of difference that you have that you need to highlight. So maybe you've got a certain way of delivering the product, so it's always on time, for example. So the question should be around the timing. What's the timing we can expect? And it might be we provide a 30-minute window to deliver to be on site on your project, and then they're in their mind thinking, oh, they provide 30 minutes. What do the other competitors do? And they might be, giving a day window or something of that nature. So highlighting your points of difference in the FAQs is a really clever way of exposing what makes you unique and set apart, and the things people should be asking of their competitors as well.
Okay, I like that. So, because it's almost seemed like we have to study who our target audience is. It's almost like we got to figure out who they are before we put it on the website. Um,
Yeah.
because you seem so resourceful, where did you learn to study human, I guess you could say, psychology around sales or even buying things?
It didn't come naturally, the sales side of thing. I guess when I started out in business as a young guy, I was really shy and reserved, and just I felt inferior to everybody else. Starting out in business as a young fellow and meeting people who I felt like they were really successful business leaders, I just felt inferior to them. And so I presented in a poor way, and, I was nervous and I was sweating, and I was, all of these things didn't present very well in sales opportunities. But something I did to learn the craft of communication and to understand people to a higher level was just join networking groups, a
Interesting.
variety of them. And some of them encourage you, or even almost expect of you, to stand up and present on your business for a minute, let's say. As they all vary, but maybe it's 60 seconds that you stand up and present on your business. It forces you to get really precise and specific in the way in which you communicate. Because some of these groups I joined were weekly, I'd stand up, I'd present, I'd mess it up a little bit, I'd get a bit of feedback potentially, and think about the next week, because there was always the next week to improve and enhance and get better. And so just by observing the other people in the room, I got to understand what makes them tick and how they communicate for their own businesses, which might have been completely different to mine. But the way in which they presented, I learned a lot of the human aspect of just by doing it. And I love people. It's my favorite part of business, talking to people now. Where I started out shy and reserved, that's my favorite thing. So I even started my own little networking group,
Oh,
which
nice.
is more of a social group. But I think just understanding people, it's that one distinction that makes us us. And it's the one thing that the AI can't bring. It's not a real person. It might be informative and rich in information, but we still, as people, like to buy from people we know, like, and trust. So building those relationships, I think, is foundational.
Yeah, and know, like, and trust is an important thing because people hold grudges, and also you never know the foot that you stepped on may be the one you look up to later as support.
Yeah.
And has that come across in your career so far?
Yeah. It's always important, even to to build a solid foundation, relationship, even with those people that are competitors. I mean, I had an amazing referral just recently from a perceived to be competitor. He does a business exactly like mine. And he presented this opportunity to me. He said, I can't, I can't pitch for this particular project because I'm on the board of this organization. And so there's a conflict of interest. But hey, I met you years ago. It might have been 4 or 5 years ago that I met this guy, and I think we connected on LinkedIn. And so we stayed in contact to a loose degree, not really, talking or anything like that, but connected. And we had that nice exchange, all those years ago. And he said, well, I know your work. I've been following you. I think you do a great job of this project. I can't do it because of the conflict of interest being on the board, but would love for you to pitch. And so I haven't necessarily won that project yet. It's still coming through, but that's the power of just being a decent person
Nice.
with everyone you meet,
Yeah.
It would have been so easy just to ignore that guy. I think he's a competitor, not to speak to him and go to the next person. But we had a reasonable conversation, and years later it paid off.
Nice. And because it gets us to think of the power of our voices and being true to our, I guess you would say, how can I say it? It's true to our mission and our purpose and what we're doing for our day to day. And going back to the beginning of our conversation of why do we do this in the first place? Um,
Yeah,
so like, what is your
business is
purpose?
hard, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Huh?
Business
Yeah.
is hard, so you gotta find a way. You've got to be passionate about it because it's like a roller coaster. I mean, some days things go wrong and it's just so much stress. If you don't love what you're doing, there's no way you're going to stick it out, and therefore you're not going to get the financial rewards that potentially can come from business. I mean, the financial reward follows serving people and providing great value to people. So the more value you can produce for other people, the more financial reward you get. That's the benefit, and that's how you're rewarded in the long term. But to get there, it's a crazy roller coaster of stress and problems and overcoming challenges, and life throws things at you sometimes that you just got to deal with.
Yeah. And so that brings back to how important from a financial standpoint of having a good website versus one who doesn't. Like how much money are we leaving on the table because of that?
Yeah, it could be huge, couldn't it? It's difficult to know exactly how much you're leaving on the table, but I mean, we had here in Australia, people can hear I'm an Aussie. We had a really big boom of the construction industry, and there was just an abundance of work for everybody. And therefore, businesses could get sloppy with their marketing overall. So their websites were terrible. The messages were wrong. They could even get sloppy returning calls because there was an abundance of work and more work than they could even facilitate. So the marketing got sloppy, the websites got really sloppy, but then things started to turn a little bit. And so businesses had to fight a little harder to get the work. And that's certainly where we're at now. I mean, there's cost of living problems and a whole bunch of things that are consistent around the world, it seems. So all of a sudden they're thinking, all right, we better get our website in shape because we need to position ourselves for the rough times that might be now or in the future. I think we've always got to think about safeguarding ourselves, even in boom times. Think about positioning yourself if things turn. So you're ready for opportunities and you're stable and you've got that predictable, reliable income. I mean, who knows how much money you're leaving on the table if you don't ready yourself in time for the changes that might occur in your industry.
Yeah, it's something because we usually refer to as a PRI, the predictable, reliable income. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Uh, so for those of you who are listening right now, just trying to figure this jargon out, it's pretty much it. When you really spell out the terms, it's a lot easier. Everybody just throw it out
yeah,
there.
yeah. That's
Uh,
right. I mean, just with with this day and age with AI, it's just a mass produce of content and information overwhelm. So I think it's really a time to really narrow in on exactly who you serve, what your ideal clients look like, who they are, what service offering do you provide or products do you give to them. If you can be really niched or niched and specific, it's easier to market to them because you know exactly where they are, where they spend their time, what they're likely to engage with. If you're too general, it's really difficult because it's just so far and wide, and it's hard to market to everybody. Where every smaller business has a distinct advantage because they can get more granular and focused on a certain type of person that they want to work with. And it's more enjoyable as well because you get to pick who you're working with.
Because I was researching your story, and one of them that stuck out the most was when you actually took a gander and took a chance on a dating website. can you
Oh
talk about
yes,
that?
yeah, man. You're bringing up trauma. I'm going to have a trauma meltdown here. Yeah. So for the people listening, a
Right.
dating website. Now, I did take a chance on a dating website. It wasn't me joining the website, but it was me building the website, I suppose. So yeah, so it was quite a number of years ago now. I had a small team of developers with me at this stage, but it was still early on in the business. And my lead developer, I could see he was getting bored with the work that he was doing.
Hmm.
So, and this opportunity came up to do a website for a dating company. It was before Tinder and all of those types of apps. So people would join these websites, pay membership and connect and all that kind of stuff, and a whole bunch of other sophisticated stuff this site needed to do. I didn't know how to build this website. It was too complicated for me. I'm a graphic designer by training, but my programmers are the technical people. And I said to this guy who I felt was going to leave me, he was great worker. I didn't want him to leave. I said, "Hey, this opportunity, do you know how to build it?" He said, "Yeah, of course." I said, "Well, can you put the proposal together? Because I have no idea." He said, "Yeah, sure. I put in all the scope of works and everything, and I put it together." I presented. He did that. I presented it. We won the work, and a couple of weeks into the project, he quit. I mean, this was a project that was
Oh.
going to take months, and so all of a sudden, I had this project to deliver upon, which I had no idea how to do.
Mhm.
So, man, sleepless nights and burning the midnight hours and figuring it out. We delivered. The client had no idea of all the pain and anguish it took for me to figure out how to do it. But we delivered, and I lost a whole lot of money, not because of that one project, but because it consumed so much time. I couldn't do other projects. And so, but we delivered on the promise that I made because I felt like a proposal is a promise. She did really well. She sold that business, but I realized, hey, I've got to stick to my lane. Like these dating websites, they're not my thing. We're better at trades businesses or construction businesses. Dating websites, never going to do that again. So lesson learned the hard way. I mean, don't take on projects because of the wrong reasons. To take on a project to keep one of my team members was the wrong thing to do. But
Yeah,
thanks for
because
bringing up that trauma. I'm trying to bury that into my past.
well, it's out there in the public now, so you gotta.
Yeah, I know.
Because one of the things that we all forget is that in business we got to go through those hurdles. We got to go through the trials and tribulations of what it takes to get there. It's part of the journey. We can't avoid it because it's the way to get there. And
Yeah,
like you said, it helps. It seemed like it almost helped you redirect you focus into who your niche is.
yeah, 100%. There's always any challenging time. If you work through it, out the other side, there's positivity. It just doesn't feel like it at the time. It's like anything in life, the challenges, the overcoming is the beauty of life, isn't it? You have these
Yeah,
challenges to overcome, and it keeps life exciting and rewarding. If everything was easy, there would be no reward because it's easy. But the
right.
benefits of fighting through the battles and overcoming, I think it's business just amplifies everything to a higher level. I think.
It will humble you for sure.
Yeah, I know.
So, we've been talking about SEO and AO for a while and
Mm.
how that actually can impact our business. It'll be great if there was a source that could provide this. Do you happen to know one?
Yeah, yeah, happy to.
Okay.
We do, yeah, man. That's exactly what we do for businesses. So we support them. For the large companies, we work alongside their marketing team and fill in the gaps of what they do. But for smaller businesses, we do it all for them. So content writing of the website, because that's a massive thing, as we talked about, the design of the website. So everything's structured in a way in which people will engage with it and take action. That's exactly what we do. So yeah, happy to plug my own business for sure. Thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, anytime. Because I like the word you call it uplift 360. Is that just because from the revolution of a circle, or because you're dealing with the marketing, well, not the marketing industry, you're dealing with the construction industry, it's a 360 for the angle 360?
It's both. Absolutely. You've nailed it. So what we're doing is uplifting people's presence online. So getting more visibility, helping them grow their businesses online, but looking at it from various angles. So 360. So that directional piece, which also relates really well to our target market, as you say, the construction people who are considering the building process and the different angles and so on. It just relates really well to both those points of view.
Nice. Now, because we come up to the features here, which is the future of SEO. Where do you see that going next? Because you mentioned it a little bit earlier about imaging, but do you think it can go any further?
Yeah, well, there's no longer any ways to cheat your way to the top. Over the years, there's always these little strategies that people would do to trick their way into getting attention by Google. So, and over the course of time, what would happen? People would find these tricks and they would apply them. Google would realize what people are doing to manipulate them and change the rules or adjust. And they would potentially either downgrade the website or blacklist them completely if they thought they were really bad in what they were doing. So getting blacklisted, it's always really difficult to dig your way out of that hole. So I've always had the long-term view of doing it ethically. It's slower, but it means you're not going to get burnt in the long run. So that uplift, so there's incremental, consistent improvement if you do it right. So thinking about producing information and content that the search engines like to see, but also producing it human first. So for the human readers, if you're providing information that's great for humans, then that's a safe bet that all the tools are going to appreciate it as well. So that's what we're doing with our clients. And there's been a roller coaster ride with even that as well, because people are getting their answer in Google itself. So we used to track the click. We'd have a set of keywords, so the phrases people might search for. People would click on the Google listing. That we'd be able to track that easily and see the return on investment, because it's all trackable. But now brands are being mentioned without even having a click. So you can't track that. So everyone's getting less traffic to the website when they're in that research phase, because they're getting their answers elsewhere. But when it comes time to buy, they're still visiting the website. They're still having that conversion to business. So we needed to talk our clients through that process. Why are we getting less traffic? Well, we had to explain the tools are changing and need to adapt with those changes. So it's been fun working with clients, some of them many, many years, and through the journey, everything's changing.
Nice. So what about you? What do you think, what skill or something like that would take you to the next level personally?
Yeah. So well, for me, I've been thinking about new ways of producing content. And that's why I've been involved more so with podcasts, just like this one, because the collaborative effect is powerful. So it's you and I creating a piece of content, which is hopefully valuable to a whole lot of people, and then sharing it to our worlds, our networks. And so you're multiplying your effectiveness, because it's not just you or your business creating the content. It's a duplication of that. And so the reach is so much further, and all the large language models love that, because all of a sudden it's published everywhere. It might be on the podcasting platforms. It might be it might be repurposed into reels for social media. It's one piece of valuable content that's longer form, like a podcast is. Can be repurposed in so many ways, and all the tools love it. So that's why I'm personally involved. Firstly, I love doing it, so that's a great
Okay.
advantage. But secondly, it's powerful for what we're trying to achieve for our clients. So I'm modeling that, encouraging our clients to do the same.
Mm. So what will be I mean, we talked about the multiple use of a podcast and getting on them for businesses to do that. How do you pitch podcasting to your clients to say like, you guys should at least be on the podcast? How do you pitch that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's difficult because not everyone will want to do it. Not everyone's comfortable and confident to speak, um, publicly. But yeah, so those that are not happy to do it, that's fine. That's where they're at. But for those that are brave enough to try and make mistakes, the
Mm,
reward is just so fruitful. I've got my own podcast now, which has only launched this year. And
nice.
so that's an easy one to get my clients on the show because they're going to be able to, I'll be able to support them in that conversation,
Mm,
and have that content produced, and shared far and wide for them. So it's going to help them, their business grow, but also it helps me obviously, as well to do that. So I'm still learning the craft. I mean, being a guest is great, and
that's
it's
the
a
easy
certain
part.
skill set, but hosting is different, isn't it, man? You've done
Oh
it
yeah.
for a while, so I feel like my first couple of shows were pretty rough in my hosting, but I
Yeah.
feel like they're getting better, and I anticipate they'll just continue to improve. So it's a learning journey, and that's I enjoy it. So that's the main thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a different skill set to being a host and a guest. One of the things about, I would say, as a suggestion for you, hopefully it helps, is to I'll just say really, since they're your clients, you would know their pain points are, but really getting to know who the person behind doing the crafting. So if you're keeping it small to the Australian market, so say if for any reason I come to Australia, but like, I want to build a condo. I wouldn't listen to your podcast because it's Australia based. Like, who should I go to? And then you'll have everybody lined up right then and there. So
Yeah, that's it. So I've had guests mostly from international so far, but yeah, super keen to get more and more Aussies on there. Um, yeah, it's been interesting. So there's those that have never done a podcast before,
mhm.
which is different as well. Um,
Yeah.
the thing I've kind of figured out was the first few I probably jumped straight into the recording piece right away,
Okay.
which was the wrong thing to do. Now I try to help them just relax and have a natural conversation, getting in a bit of flow of conversation, having a bit of a joke as well to help
Yeah.
lighten them up a little bit. I think the craft of doing the stuff you do before the recording, for
Mhm.
me, that's been the best learning so far. But there's a whole bunch of other things I could do better for sure.
Yeah. Well, hopefully mine was a good template. I do help out a lot of new people that come onto my show are new to being a guest. So
Yeah.
it's just over the years of working with a lot of new people. So I was just, like you said, just keep it conversational. Don't do any gotchas. Just keep it,
Yeah.
just doing them. Everybody likes to talk about themselves. So this is
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
The thing and maybe you've got some tips on this. The thing I find it really hard to, and I'm probably doing it to you a bit, talking way too long. And then you've got a whole bunch of questions. And by the time they've finished their long spiel, you've forgotten what the questions were because there's so many.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Well, the tip
that's
for
good.
that is keep your questions under 20 seconds. And
Mm,
once you do that and master that, it makes life a lot easier because remember, it's about the guest, not you.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it
perfect.
took some time. So, is there anything, before we get into the final four questions, is there anything you want to leave the person that's listening to this?
Yeah, look, obviously we're speaking a lot about business, and those running businesses, but it's some of these things need to be considered even for those that are employees because the workplace is changing. And so thinking about how you position your own career path, if your career is potentially at jeopardy of being replaced by, AI, or at least changed in some degree, thinking about what the likely changes might be and how do you adjust so you're one of the first people ready for whatever's changing. So kind of trying to foresee what's happening, just like a business tries to do, foresee where the industry is changing. Individuals need to think about that as well for their own journey, and so they can be in a really great career path and really profitable. Making great income and all the things that they want to do in life. So yeah, it's changing times, but it's exciting times for those that are getting ready for it.
I like it. All right. So you ready for the final four?
Yeah, let's do it.
All righty. Question 1. What does wealth mean to you?
Yeah, it's changed a lot, but these days it's more freedom than anything else. Initially, wealth was just about money. I mean, and when you haven't got enough money, that's an overwhelming realization that, hey, I just need more of that. But yeah, when you've got that sort of settled to a large degree, then wealth for me is the freedom to do what I want to do when I want to do it, and spend the time where I want to with family and kids and so on.
That's good. Number 2, what was your worst money mistake?
The worst mistake was when I was still just a teenager. I got this hot tip to buy some stock in the share market, and it was a friend of mine working at this company, and he gave me this hot tip. So all of my savings, I was just a young kid, all the savings from birthday, pocket money, all these things, I put into this one stock, and it crashed overnight. So lesson learned the hard way. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is, possibly is at least. So
Man, okay. Yeah, that do you invest now because of that?
I have done, not in the stock market anymore, but
Okay.
yeah, I did a bit, but certainly more considerate and research things a whole lot better these
There you go. Love it. Number 3, is there a book that inspired your journey or changed your perspective?
Yeah, the best book that I read was The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. So it just changed the paradigm a whole lot. You got it on your bookshelf, have you?
Of course.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, it's so powerful, isn't it? Is it one of
Yes.
your favorites?
It is up there as far as the top ones, yes.
Yeah.
Because I like the E-Myth one. That's my
Oh,
my
yeah,
top
that's the
one.
other one, Michael Gerber. I listened to that one, the Audible. I love the story in it, Sarah and her journey of and so on. I love the way in which that was written too. But yeah, 4-Hour Workweek just changed my understanding of time and creating income, and the power of not connecting work with 40 hours a week. You don't necessarily need to work 40 hours a week to create the income in which you want to live a meaningful and successful life.
I like that. I might have to do a just another standalone clip, me talking about the 4-hour work week.
Yeah, it's
I
brilliant,
like,
isn't it?
yeah,
And it's funny too. It's such a nice read. Some of the storytelling in there is brilliant.
yeah, I like it. Number 4, what is your favorite dish to make?
Yeah, well, here in Australia, we love a barbecue, and
Mhm.
I love the lamb chops. So, although I've started cooking them in the oven because it's just easier and less mess, but and they're coming out just as nice. So I love a lamb. Do you eat lamb over there? Yeah. Not everyone in the world does, but yeah, I love it. Yeah, nice fatty piece of lamb.
Nice. Do you put it with like any sides or anything like that, or just straight lamb?
Oh yeah. Just I keep things fairly healthy, so just some vegetables usually. Maybe some fries if I'm not so healthy.
Right. Nice. Well, this is the very last question of the show, which is where could people find out more about you?
Yeah, and you dropped it a little earlier with the company uplift360.com.au. That's our company website, so we can do strategy calls. You can book them right there.
Awesome. And this has been so much fun, Wes. Man, I can't wait to see where you go at within a year, and definitely see if you actually pivot just a little bit. utilizing some AI and so forth. But I'm sure there's a lot of companies out there that still need better websites. So
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks so much for the opportunity. It's been a great conversation. Certainly going to learn a lot, even from the hosting side
Oh
of
yeah.
things, from how you do it. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. All right. So the person that's listening to this, please make sure that you go ahead on and like, subscribe, share, listen to this on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to this, and just leave a comment. This does help me create more content for you, but also might be able to just bring Wes back on to kind of do a deeper dive into whatever project or question that you have. So with that, I want you to be safe. We out. Peace.